everybody. I'm in the garage with a 1951 Chevy 3100. Originally came with a 235 straight six. Later in its life is upgraded to a 270 GMC engine, which just does not belong in this vehicle. And it's also a dog. It doesn't really have any horsepower at all. I have put together a 292 that's bored 60 over, updated the head, hardened valve seats, and 184 intake valves, 160 exhaust valves. And we'll be putting on a Clifford intake manifold with a Weber 38 carburetor and some Shorty street headers. So far, this is what I have created. I'm waiting on the head and some other parts, carburetor and intake exhaust. And I'm still trying to get this old 270 out of here. The way that these things are designed with the rear engine mount instead of the side mounts, and a rear mount and a front mount. The front mount's gonna be an interesting challenge too, because that's gonna basically be custom. And it looks like that was basically custom and modified to fit. And you kind of have to slip the transmission up inside of it or just kind of install everything as one piece. Well, I don't really have the room to do that, so what I'm going to be doing is sliding the transmission down, taking the flex plate off, and then that plate bolts into the back of this block with a bunch of little tiny Allen bolts behind the flex plate. And so I'm going to take the flex plate off, get all those bolts out of there, and I'll be able to liberate this engine out of this thing. And I'm going to have to kind of build everything back together. One of the concerns I have is that these bolt holes will or will not line up, and that adapter plate may need to be drilled out so that these can go in properly. Also, this is a 6-bolt crankshaft. That is a 4-bolt crankshaft. So that flex plate is wrong. So I now have to match up the exact outside diameter, the teeth count, and the 3 holes that mount that flex plate to the torque converter. One thing at a time, but here's where we are. All of the parts that I need, minus a few things, are all here. And I'm about 90% on taking this motor out. The only hang up that I have right now is that front motor mount is part of this entire front assembly. This whole assembly sits on top of 2 bolts down there that I can't get out. To be able to lift this out, because there's a plate that goes underneath it and a bolt goes through it. Somebody put the motor in, bolted the plate down, put this entire front clip section on here and the radiator and everything. So all of this has to come out so that I can take the motor forward and out. Well, stay tuned with me. I'll get this thing done here in the next week or so. As the parts come in, they'll go on. Give you a little walkthrough on everything. Thanks for watching.